here again. Why can't he just work with me? And they already half do this and do that. I'm at the point where I feel like I need to, I already spoke with my benefits rep, UAW Legal Services, where I need to get me an attorney. That's something have to come out of my pocket.
A woman on medical leave, struggling with asthma so severe she's been hospitalized, stand before a judge fighting to keep a roof over her head. But here's the twist. She's not upset about the money she owes. She's frustrated because the property manager won't work with her, won't communicate, and keeps dragging her back to court instead of finding a solution. Regina Agnes is fed up, stressed out, and ready to hire her own attorney just to deal with what she calls impossible landlord behavior. Meanwhile, she's describing an apartment with vintage closet doors and bulky paint on the wall that she says doesn't even come close to matching the treatment she's receiving. Will the judge give her the breathing room she needs? Or will this case spiral further? This one gets emotional. Let's break it down.
$1,505.
Okay. She paid the $1,646 or whatever.
On Monday, yes.
On Monday. Got it.
Let's get some context here. Regina has a remaining balance of $1,505, but she just made a payment of $1,646 on Monday. That means she's actively paying. She's not ignoring her obligations or trying to skip out on rent. This is a tenant who's making real efforts despite being on medical leave. The frustration you heard at the very beginning, that's someone who feels like no matter what she does, it's never enough for her property manager. She's been hospitalized, she's dealing with severe asthma, and yet she's still showing up to court, still making payments, still trying to communicate. But according to her, the property manager named Robert isn't making any of this easy. Let's see how she explains her situation to the judge.
I don't understand why Robert, hopefully you're watching. Not you, Your Honor. First, let me state my name, Regina Agnew.
Thank you. I was going to ask, but you seem like you.
No, I'm really under a lot of
okay
distress. My asthma, it's just really been bad. I've been off work on a medical leave, and I explained it to him. I even explained that I was hospitalized, and I'm doing the best that I can.
Right.
I'm waiting on medical payments. And when I spoke with him on Monday, before making the payment, I said that you had stated in my Zoom last week that to see if I can work something out with with
right.
people at the office manager. Excuse me. So
just take you down. Okay.
So I said that to him. So because we're in September now, so September is due, obviously. And so he told me to, well, that's something that our attorney would do. I said, well, so then I told him that I'll come in the office because I had a follow-up appointment from being hospitalized with my primary doctor on Tuesday, but I didn't make it in the office to see him. I'm trying to get myself together because I miss making the money that I make, So I didn't make it into the office to have a conversation with him.
This is where the real frustration starts to boil over. Regina is explaining that she tried to follow the judge's advice from a previous hearing, to work something out with the office. But when she called Robert, his response was essentially, that's something our attorney would handle. He deflected. He didn't try to meet her halfway. And here's Regina, fresh out of the hospital, trying to juggle a follow-up medical appointment and make it into the office to talk to him in person. And she couldn't do both. She's literally choosing between her health and trying to resolve this housing situation. This is a reality for so many people in landlord-tenant disputes. They want to work things out, but they feel stonewalled at every turn. And it's about to get even more heated.
And he's not so easy to have a conversation with because I can say to him, like you recall me a couple months ago in here, I said, I can pay, this and that amount. And he'll say things like, well, who else do you have to pay? That's none of his business, and I already feel like I told him he stresses me out. Communication is everything. And when I try to have a conversation with him, He likes to really kind of, well, the owner said that they're not going to renew your lease. Well, the owners act like I live in the Hamptons, with the old vintage closet doors and bulky paint on the wall. So since they bringing me to court, because I felt like he really didn't have to bring me to court, because of course, yes, I need a roof over my head. I'm going to make the payments. I'm not a freeloader.
Who else do you have to pay? Can we talk about that for a second? That is an incredibly invasive question for a property manager to ask a tenant. Regina's personal finances, her other bills, her obligations are frankly none of his business as long as she's making her rent payments. And she is making payments. But instead of acknowledging that, he's prying into her life and, according to Regina, using threats about not renewing her lease. And then she drops this gem. The owners act like I live in a Hampton, with old vintage closet doors and bulky paint on the wall. She's pointing out a fundamental disconnect. She's being treated like she's living in luxury housing, when the reality is far from it. This is someone who takes pride in herself, who likes nice things, and she's frustrated that the treatment doesn't match the product. This is raw, honest, and relatable.
I like nice things in life, but the way that apartment looked, no, that does not equate with what I like. And here it is. I'm here again. Why can't he just work with me? And they already half do this and do that. I'm at the point where I feel like I already spoke with my benefits rep, UAW Legal Services, where I need to get me an attorney. That's something have to come out of my pocket. So I will. That's just something grandkids won't get for a little minute. It's all right. But the way he says to me, we pay $1,000 to take you to court. Well, don't take me to court.
All right.
I pay my court costs. And I'm saying all of this, Your Honor, to say the moral of it all is he is not easy to work with. And I need my reserve oxygen, seeing that he's not, being accepted and grateful for.
Don't take me to court. That line right there sums up everything. Regina is pointing out the absurdity of the situation. The landlord complains about paying $1,000 to take her court, but SHE didn't ask to be here. She's been making payments. She's been communicating. She's been trying. And now she's at the point where she's considering hiring her own attorney, money that would have gone to her grandkids. That's the human cost of these disputes. It's not just about rent. It's about family, dignity, and feeling like you're being treated fairly. And when she says she needs to reserve her oxygen because of the stress Robert causes her, that's not a figure of speech. She has literal breathing problems exacerbated by this situation. The judge needs to step in here, and thankfully, that's exactly what happens next.
So let me ask this. 1505, when do you think you can get that
The
paid?
26th. I told him that I can make that payment.
Okay.
It could be paid by the 26th. And that's when he said, well, Doc, I don't know. It depends on what my attorney says.
Well, doesn't matter right now what they said because I'm an attorney. Can you get it paid early in the day?
On the 26th, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm going to adjourn this case out to the 26th because I'm going to have the final say. That'll be at 3 o'clock.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I really do.
Thank you, man.
I really appreciate you being a fair judge. You're stern, but you're fair.
Stern?
Yes.
Is that a bad thing?
Oh, yeah. Not at all.
Okay.
No.
Alan told me to be that way because I wasn't that way before.
Seeing that I have to be on your docket, I prefer to be on this docket than a criminal docket,
That's probably true. All right. So get the balance paid by then.
Okay.
And if you have everything paid prior to that point and you're sure you got everything paid, you don't need to appear.
Okay, good, because I'm
Okay.
scheduled released to return to work in another week. So
Okay. All right. So let's see if we can get that done, get it worked out, and then they'll just dismiss it if you get it.
Okay. Thank you.
You have a
Thank
blessed
you.
weekend.
God bless you. You have a blessed one.
And this is what good judicial discretion looks like. The judge cuts through all the noise. Doesn't matter what the landlord attorney says. Doesn't matter what Robert thinks. SHE is going to have the final say. The case is adjourned to the 26th at 3 p.m. Regina commits to paying early in the day. And here's the best part. If she gets everything paid before then, she doesn't even have to appear. That's the judge giving her a clear path forward. No more back and forth. No more stress with Robert. Just pay the balance and this gets dismissed. And watch the exchange that follows. Regina thanks the judge for being stern but fair, and the judge even shares a little personal moment about how she learned to be that way. This is a human side of the courtroom that we don't always get to see. And that wraps up this landlord-tenant case involving Regina Agnes. Let's break down what happened. Regina, a tenant dealing with serious health issues, including hospitalization for asthma, came before the court with a remaining balance of $1,505. She had already made a payment of over $1,600 on Monday, proving she committed to meeting her obligations. But her frustration wasn't about the money. It was about communication. She described the property manager, Robert, who she says is difficult to work with, asks invasive questions about her finances, threatens lease non-renewal, and ultimately dragged her to court despite her consistent efforts to pay. The judge handled this with exactly the right balance of authority and compassion. She adjourned the case to the 26th, giving Regina a clear deadline and a simple path to resolution. Pay the balance early that day, and the case gets dismissed. No additional court appearances necessary. Regina even mentioned she's returned to work the following week, which means she'll have income flowing again to get this squared away. This case highlights something we see all too often. Tenants who are trying, who are paying, but who feel like they're fighting an uphill battle against landlords or property managers who won't meet them halfway. Communication really is everything. And when it breaks down, everyone ends up in court wasting time and money. What do you think? Was Regina justified in her frustration? Or should she have handled things differently? Have you ever dealt with a difficult landlord or property manager? Drop your stories and opinions in the comments. We love hearing from you. If this case resonated with you, make sure to hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs to see it, and subscribe to the channel for more real courtroom breakdowns that show the human side of the legal system. Ring that notification bell so you never miss a video. Until next time, stay blessed, stay informed, and we'll catch you in the next one.